getting free of having debt, this owing, this debt. And see, the first rule, they say, of economics, which is this made up money thing, is scarcity. Scarcity. Keep people scared. That's the first rule of money system, is to keep people afraid that if you don't have enough money, you won't survive. You won't have pleasure. You won't enjoy. You won't have a good time. All of these things. And see, what happens is, this is another one of the things why I like the Bhagavad Gita. I don't know if you've ever read it, but it's really cool. See, being a spiritual researcher, I study and research and dig deeply in what I'm interested in. And when I was in school, I really didn't care about reading until one day in the library in high school, I found a book on reincarnation. And I went, whoa, what's this, you see? Because my great-grandmother and I were very spiritually connected. And so, you know, I was already thinking about things and God and that sort of thing, but they weren't religious. So that wasn't like, you know, you had to do this or you had to do that. But this whole debt thing is based on guilt. And it's also based on what you're doing. You're trading your future, in a sense, for something in the now that then will be gone, in a sense, in the future. I mean, it's like, to be debt-free is forgive others as you would have them forgive you, or treat others as you would have them treat you. But it's, in a sense, when we hold others in debts of obligation, that means, you know, and what happens is we all get into this through all the different agreements that we've made, loans on this and that, and mortgages. And a mortgage is like a death note. And mort is a word for death. So when we get into all these contracts, we get all these agreements, and we get ourselves so involved in all of this stuff. It's all on the outside, and it's the fear of what would happen if I don't have it. And therefore, then you've got the people in tension, which means in stress, and also then using their intentions to produce the very thing that they don't want. So to get out of that debt, to eliminate debt, to not have it, is to get that nobody owes you anything. And unless you have some agreement that you're doing, I'm not touching on that, but what I'm really saying is trying to hold other people in debts of obligation. All of this is the false mind. You have to listen to whose thoughts are you following? What information are you believing? What God are you serving? The God of the mind of fear and harshness and pain and suffering? Or your true divine God within, partners with you, that you are with, not even within you, that we're together and we are part of, you see. So getting rid of this debt is also looking at how we've used the debts. I'll owe you, you owe me, we're doing all of this. It doesn't seem like any of that's based on actual natural law, the way things really operate. And if we were operating from this natural law in harmony with each other and in harmony with Earth, wow! Wow! So how do we do that? Cast off the debt, at least in your mind, so that it does not bog you. Let it go. Begin fresh right now. And at fresh in that moment is to drop the burden of all that stuff in the mind. The guilt, the shame, the obligations, which you owe me, I owe you, you did this, I could have done that. If on pettiness, mundaneness, that is robbing us and causing this conflict and war, the battle of Armageddon in the mind continuously. And you cannot solve the battle in the mind. You have to rise above it in the bliss. That's my book, Live Your Bliss. To the bliss level, which is your natural state, without you grabbing on to and believing and accepting and making real the mind. You're in your beingness, in yourself. And what happens is there's a boredom that we're so used to playing with the toy of the mind that when it really gets to dropping all of those concepts and being in the now, here's the big issue of the dropping the debt, is that people don't know what they'd do if they were debt free. Would you just go debt up again? Would you have them owe you again? You see, it's all of this fear and scarcity of the mind is always us making plans how to avoid failure in the future so that we're not even now. Okay. Be now. Just breathe it in and have every moment be a fresh moment. And to not get into debts and obligations and all of that sort. Yes, have your agreements, but the agreements to be mutually empowering. That's really the highest purpose of our relationships. Yes.